I know.
I guess loosely we discussed earlier that we want to try to tackle the boss monster for this level of the Underdark. We want to kind of reverse engineer the adventure as we go along, and I think Jim had a good idea. Sometimes as you're creating this adventure, you have to go back and change some things, but if we start with some end game stuff, we might end up in land on a nice soft spot somewhere.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that you just start with the boss and work your way on how you get to them. You know, what brought you to this level, then what brought you to that one. Just keep working it backwards like that.
I think we should, definitely square away this monster, and then we'll figure out where he sits in the final end game of the adventure and the events surrounding it, so on and so forth. Does anybody have any ideas? I know we originally said something about using a big manatee, but I think this should be its own creature. Like maybe there is a giant manatee, or maybe this is like a hybrid thing or something.
I think it should get something on its own. Let's make it unique. Just has to be bigger badass. One point I was thinking dragon. I wonder if we could make something not really a dragon, but kind of with some dragon characteristics, maybe.
So we're thinking like walks on all fours, wings.
It doesn't really have to have wings because it is underground.
That's true. Yeah. Is it like, what are they? Drakes, the ones that don't have wings? Maybe some kind of giant stone drake or crystal drake, or you got any ideas, Adi?
Well, I was thinking about what we were talking about before about the origins. Like either I forget if we settled on something, if they had evolved down there or they were planted like thousands or millions of years ago, or they'd come through a gateway that goes to another dimension.
Yeah, we did kind of leave that open-ended. Yeah. We did. I like the idea. I think I called it the Transformers thing, where they kind of were an alien species. Planted. The manatee, though, are they going to have any affiliation, any association with the boss monster? Was it something maybe on their ship that came with them? Or is it something that just was already here underneath the earth that they just happened to stumble across and discover?
Could be the pilot of the ship.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea that they're all connected. They're all from the same plane, and maybe as we go up, there's still more from their ship or their planet or portal, whatever. If we decide if it's going to be, I kind of did like the idea. I think you brought it up already about come from a portal. It's like another world.
Yeah, so you have like a portal guardian. And if you defeat him, you can choose whether to close the portal or go through it or leave it open. Gives you options.
I do like that. Yeah, because they have to go into their world and find out how they get that portal open and then how you can close it.
Could be like maybe a cliffhanger ending to the campaign or a possible closure if you close it. It's like the end.
And how do you close it without trapping yourself?
Maybe there's a sacrifice that must be made. Maybe you have to bring down, maybe it can't be closed. Maybe you have to just destroy the cavern above it so that nothing can make its way through, or that's an option. It'd be kind of cool if the manatee actually came here, and then they brought with them the portal to their world where these things are coming through. So it would give kind of like a reason how it got there. They land, they set up their colony, open up the portal, and then whatever they want to bring through comes through.
Yeah, like they're trying to set up a teleport station, and maybe something happened, or they plan to wait for like thousands of years to gestate or something. Maybe
this is what they do to every planet. Maybe they send these manatees to the planet with these crystals and a portal. The crystals, then, they try to get it to the people to become addicted to it. And then, slowly they just can take over the planet because there's not enough people left standing that aren't mindless or crazy.
Yeah, like the terraforming.
Yeah. Yep.
I guess should we just create the creature first and then build his world around him?
Yeah.
Because I think if he came in a ship, would he be pretty intelligent?
Well, that's why I think it would come through the portal that the ship is bringing to each planet that it goes to.
Okay. Oh, to bring in all these nasty things.
Yeah, so the manatis are the only ones maybe that are, it doesn't even have to be the manatis, it could be another species that we come up with, are the creatures that actually come to the planet to bring the portal, and then whatever is on the other side of that in their world, they can pull it through, or it can come through, however. So do we want it to be a giant quadruped thing? Do we want it to stand like Godzilla on its two hind legs? Does it have a tail? Does it got spikes? Where do we go from here?
Well, I guess it depends. Are we going to go? Party would go to its world. So, what kind is it deep beneath its world, or is it above the world? And it's
like in its world. Is it below ground as well, or is it just?
Yeah, where is it going to live within its world?
Mm.
So when a party goes through it, are they deep in the core of another planet, or are they above the?
Could go either way.
I would think it'd be somewhat of a cave dweller, since that's where it chose to enter into the Athalia world.
It would only make sense that it would seek out its own natural habitat. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So then it leads to maybe it's a massive planet, like where these creatures are the biggest creatures on the planet, kind of like dinosaurs at one point for us were the largest creatures, roaming land. Maybe in this world, they are just the dominators of the underworld in their own world. And that's when they come through, it's just familiarity to them. And how smart is this thing? Is it super intelligent, or is it mindless? Is it controllable?
Well, the smarter it is, the more dangerous it is.
Oops.
Well, let's take a look at gold great worm. Their intelligence is, of course, extremely high, 21. Trying to think of a creature that might, because if you look at the Tarrasque, it's got an intelligence of 3.
Well, drakes are not very intelligent.
Yeah, that's true. We could go with kind of base it off of a drake.
Yeah, they've got an intelligence of 4. But there's no reason that our drake-ish character or monster. There's no reason why it can't be smarter.
Yeah, we could definitely up his intelligence.
Have more intelligence, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like the look of them, too. They really do look neat.
Yeah, they are. They are pretty cool.
Artie will put a cool twist on it, I'm sure. Or maybe completely... I feel like... what do you want it to look like, Artie? Do you like this direction?
I like keeping the crystal theme. Maybe this being could be made almost like made of crystal.
Ooh.
That norm, it's not natural. You know what I mean? You wouldn't. It's almost unbelievable to see it, like a golem or a construct or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually.
But it's living.
Yeah, from wherever it came from. This is
So is this maybe going to be guarding whatever that device or crystal formation or whatever it is that created the portal?
Yeah, maybe they could be the guardian. It could be like a crystal drake guardian or something like that. Or
And we mentioned having another city down below and it being more crystal-like. So maybe that could be a city they created of their actual inhabitants of their world.
Oh yeah.
And they've got the manatis that protect them and help them build and kind of like they're slaves.
Yeah, and I like this anatomy not being similar to human anatomy, humanoid anatomy. It's cool that it is completely unnatural to us and foreign, but to it, that's how its anatomy works. It's how it's going to make this other world, I think, really interesting and intriguing because it's something very different.
Yeah.
Maybe they work more on energy, which is why they want magic. For the energy.
Yeah, maybe their planet was dying. It was running out of the energy. Wait a minute. Now we're going directly Transformers because that was the issue with Energon cubes. They were sending them back to Cybertron.
Okay, new plan.
Yeah. But the crystals do contain... Are they magical from the start, or do they have to absorb the magic to become magical?
Crystals can be more like recorders. They can record the energy of their surroundings.
Mm-hmm. What if the heart of Athalia puts off such a strong magical energy that they were really drawn to this place because they'd never been somewhere where the magical energy was so powerful, and it's making them stronger and more powerful due to the heart of Athalia. Maybe the core of Athalia isn't necessarily a molten, steaming, lava ball. Maybe it's just the light or energy or magic itself, or like, how like Forgotten Realms has the weave, they call it, kind of allowing the magic through the weave.
The center of the planet is like a magical
that's
crystal.
it.
It's like crystalline. It's not actual magma or lava. It makes sense. It's generating, or it enhances magical abilities or magic in general.
And that's how they've built this city. They've used the magic that's coming from the heart, and these crystals have just flourished because of it. And they're able to, through their own magic, maybe manipulate it to form their cities and, streets and houses, or however they live. I'm sure it's definitely unique, not similar to, a capital city or something like that. It would be very different looking. Do any of these creatures take slaves? Could there be slaves traveling with these creatures that have their own city below ground that's, heavily guarded by the Manatus?
Or like a subclass of the Manatus that are like this like slave class.
Yeah. It wouldn't even have to be a humanoid. It could be one of the Manatus.
Like they have no exoskeleton or something. They're just like soft, pulpy.
And they're weak, and so that they are made slaves of the rest of the Manatus. Could it be a sex thing too, a male-female thing? Like the males are the...
Yeah, they could be androgynous.
Well, that's true. They may not even have gender. Yeah,
they're unable to procreate.
Having that slave race too, I think, adds to the adventure, because you might be able to have the characters at some point interact with them, offer to free them or gain their help somehow. So it's nice having a creature from the other place that actually can be befriended and cooperative and work with them and stuff like that.
Possibly, yeah. Be like an oppressed, like a different species altogether, or
either that, or like we were saying before, like the Manatus that don't have like an exoskeleton. Maybe they're the ones, because they're enslaved, that the party might be able to form some kind of a friendship with. Or I assume this creature is highly magical too, probably quite capable of just about any spell, I would think. Maybe something or certain schools it knows, dozens and dozens, hundreds of spells. Maybe they're all innate. Maybe it's all based on its own, physiology or ability to consume and contain and hold magic.
We could look up different crystals because they all have different energetic properties. Maybe get some ideas. I guess the crystal I was thinking of was called a record keeper crystal. I know there's another name for it, but it holds the wisdom and knowledge of the universe.
I like that.
They're clear crystals. I think they usually have you can see lines in them.
Oh yeah, I know the ones you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah. So we could play on something like that. That could be part of it.
Yeah, maybe it's recording history throughout the universe, multiverse, or whatever. It's absorbing not just magic, but knowledge, history. Maybe this creature isn't necessarily evil. It's almost like a what Marvel tries to do with every villain. It's not. They don't see themselves as the evil. If it's going to be intelligent. If it's not intelligent, then that wouldn't matter anyway. But I would imagine that the Manatus and all the creatures that have come here, especially the Manatus, probably don't see themselves as the bad guy at all. They're just doing what they do, trying to collect the knowledge throughout the universe. And unfortunately, in doing so, you end up causing irreparable harm to the planet that you go and visit.
And like Europe coming to America. Okay, well, let's get back to this boss. So, will it be the boss? Is that going to be the final creature? And is that what we're thinking? Maybe that is guarding the portal?
I think so. I think that makes sense. And the only way to close it is for the party to go through and kill it.
Yeah, or distract it so they can dismantle
whatever
is opening the portal. The most part is we'll probably want to kill it.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, let's face it.
Ours would. Come on. Yeah.
The loot and the XP.
Yeah.
Although I usually will reward XP even if you don't kill something. If you know, that's the whole purpose. I remembered the idea. So we were talking about this thing being innately magic and just being able to cast any spell. What if this might get a little hard for DMs out there, but what if it doesn't necessarily know any of the spells from the handbook? It just knows what it wants to do and it happens. Mm-hmm. So like instead of calling a fireball, it can create on the fly whatever it needs to do magically because it's so powerful.
That makes sense because it's not going to know Thalia's or the D&D world's magic list.
We'd have to write something up about that, but I think that's a cool idea. I've always wanted magic to work that way in D&D anyway. Like I always thought it's cool. It has to be organized with the spells and stuff. But like, I just think if you're a powerful, wizard or a sorcerer or whatever, like I feel like you could just, make whatever you wanted to. I just always thought it would be cool if there was some alternative rule or something like that.
Yeah, that really would be cool. It's having tied down to your spell list.
Why don't we come up with its main stats, and that might help us kind of fill out the rest of the stuff. So is this creature, it's got to be like a godlike figure to the Manatus and any of the creatures that have come from this planet. I can't imagine you'd get a stat under 16, 17.
I mean, or is this like a guard dog and there is a more godlike creature within that world? And maybe they've got multiple portals around, so it's not like he's concentrating just on that particular one. But maybe he's just pulling magic in from other worlds. It's not like they need to take over worlds; they just want to pull in. Maybe this godlike creature wants to pull in all the magics from all the other worlds.
So maybe,
but it's causing problems.
So he's not the boss; he's kind of like the guard dog. But let's finish the guard dog, and then we'll figure out. I imagine through the process who holds the leash.
That world's Vecna. I see you doing a lot of drawing over there, Artie. Are you coming up with ideas?
Yeah, I'm just sketching stuff, seeing if I could start something.
I mean, is it going to be kind of like a Kimono dragon, or the Drake, or combination, or something totally different?
Wild things.
Does it get any more insect-like, kind of like the Mantis? Or is it more reptilian, or wolf, or...
Probably crystal. We know that it's probably
covered. Yeah, there's going to be crystals. Yeah.
Well, you remember those Star Wars, were they foxes? Or it was in the second of the newest trilogy. Anywho, there's these crystal wolves that lead the rebels out of the base after it gets attacked by the... Not Imperials, the...
yeah. I try not to think about that movie at all.
Me too. Trilogy or... strength.
It's going to be pretty strong.
Titan, like...
Because I would think that's going to be one of its strongest, biggest skill, strength.
Yeah, because it doesn't have to really... be super smart to know how to use its abilities. As long as it can just use its abilities, it doesn't have to. So we could really weigh heavily on the strength side of things.
I was thinking strength and dexterity.
So
do we want to do 20s?
I'd say at least 20s.
Or are we going beyond 20?
I'd say, well, like I was just looking at like a brass great worm. Like that has a 30 strength, dexterity 16, constitution 29, intelligence 21, wisdom 22, and charisma 30. But I don't know if we want to make it, that's a challenge rating of 28. I imagine this thing is going to be around there, 25 to 30 somewhere. So, I mean, I'm not afraid to put like a 24 in strength because, I mean, they go all the way to 30.
Yeah. And what about dexterity?
That's okay. So this is something where the development of the creature really comes. Like, is it like you said? Is it like a wolf? Can it dart? Can it move? Is it like a snake? Can it slither? Can it, or is it like more stationary? Maybe it plants itself in the ground and does its battling from there. I don't know. I'd say it wouldn't be as dexterous as it is strong if it's a massive creature, unless it's something. If we don't go gargantuan, if we go like huge, something maybe 30 feet long or something like that. Is it fast? Does it dart around, or is it more cautious as it moves? Like that's when I think of the dexterity. I'm like, how does it move? Is it swift? Is it snake? I mean, is it I don't know what my word.
Well, the larger your creature is, the more gravity fights against it. So
yeah,
you're going to lose its dexterity. So maybe that shouldn't be too high. Maybe 16.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. 16. That's still pretty dexterous. It's just not as dexterous as.
Yeah. The Constitution, I would think it'd have a good Constitution, which is going to get it a lot of hit points. And if it's casting spells, if it's doing a concentration spell, it'd be harder to break it.
Maybe. Do we want it to be healthier than strong, or do we want to just make that like a 22?
Well, we can just put it in the 22, and after we go off camera, we'll probably go through the monster creation and compare it to others, and then realize we got to tweak a few things here and there.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure.
Cross that with the Manitus.
Yeah, I did too. Like after we were done, a lot more stuff came out. So it's nice that we're doing this weekly or bi-weekly, however we get these out, because it's all just it's a work in progress, I guess is the best way to say it. And you'll get to see us slowly develop this thing, and things will change, kind of like beta testing.
We constantly tweak them.
Intelligence.
Now, if this is going to be the guard dog.
Then it's not going to be as smart as the one pulling the leash. But not stupid either. Maybe 12, 14, 15.
Well, let's just shoot for 14 right now.
Okay.
That's a +2. If it's going to be casting spells, I would think it'd be using more wisdom, because this isn't like it's a creature that's reading books that's going to learn. So, I think 14 is good, but wisdom, it may need to be a little bit higher just so that the spells are going to be a little more powerful.
No, we could do 20, 18, 20.
Let's do 18.
Charisma.
Oh, that thing is charming as hell.
Maybe a 10. Just put it flat.
Yeah.
No bonuses.
Yeah.
And I definitely like the idea of using its wisdom instead of its intelligence for its spell casting capabilities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's more of an internal, innate magic.
Yeah. Yep. AC, hit points, and speed. It's got to be a beast. It's got to have like 500 hit points, 600 hit points, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Not to really change any of the stats you're working on, but I was thinking almost like a construct or like a golem kind of thing made kind of in the likeness of some other being. And it was left to guard portal per se. And it's just sitting there. When it's closed, it almost looks like a sarcophagus. Sitting there, like silent. And it looks like it's just a floating massive.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Maybe even crystal almost. Then it can open up.
Yeah. That's cool. That's a neat idea. Yeah. I dig that a lot.
I'll send pictures to. This is just a sketch.
What's cool is, when last time we got off and we were kind of offline and we were kind of talking about it, I don't know why I just kind of envisioned some kind of creature that had a bunch of tentacles, but instead of like an octopus type, it was more like a jellyfish. It was more slinky tentacles. What if it had, like when it kind of opens up, maybe it's got several tentacles, like dozens of them that can lash out.
I've been doing a lot of, and this my little pad is doing a lot of tentacle-like creature doodles.
Oh,
cool.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So he opens up.
Yeah, unexpected. I think almost like it shouldn't even look out of the ordinary, like on the outside, like when he's in that form and just standing there, sitting there. And then when he opens up, then you see the crystals or maybe almost mocking the Manitus attack in a way where it's the opposite. The outside of them are covered in crystals. This thing is all on the inside. We determined it was going to be one made of crystal, right?
Or like a geode. When you cut a geode and it's like inside.
Yeah, like
crystals and stuff.
Yeah.
And one thing I was kind of thinking, I just had that vision of kind of like a jellyfish thing, that more of it's floating. And like you said, you had seen this thing floating.
Yeah, and then it would open up to kind of represent those tentacles or whatever those things. What do they have? Are they tentacles on a jellyfish, or is it
Yeah, I think they still call them tentacles.
I think there's a scientific name for them.
Yeah.
It'll scroll across the video.
There it is right there. I knew it all along. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or what were you thinking about, Artie, when it opens up? What were you seeing?
I hadn't really thought of it. I could see it just sitting there silent and dark, like the party would come across it. Maybe it would just look like a statue or a monument. Except if you look, maybe not even surprisingly, because it's a magical world, you notice that it's floating. It's not touching the earth or the ground.
Yep.
And then once you get into a certain range, it like activates.
Like the alarm goes off.
Yeah, like a proximity. And it can be intelligent. It's like I've been sitting here guarding this portal for 1,000 years. You know,
That's true.
I remember everything type of thing. I know everything. Super intelligent.
Well, I mean, if it's got recorders, it's and it's got that open portal, maybe it's kind of peering into the other world and kind of learning everything it can from it.
Now I'm just wondering, though, I'm starting to go back to the idea of maybe just the Guardian is the boss again, because I feel like I like the look of what you drew there with the face and stuff. I almost feel like it's got a bit of a smartness to it. Like maybe this is the creature that, there's got to be a separation.
There's more of an intelligence there.
Yeah, I'm having a hard
his creature
time.
looks like it does have an intelligence.
And I'm not sure we can design a race that created this being, but I was thinking he was created in their likeness. Or he could have a likeness like the Manatus. Like you have a Manatus stone. It's just like an ornament kind of, but it looks like a Manatus head.
I wonder if it would use that as almost like a distraction thing too, like some insects and fish and stuff too, like where you'd see the Manatus head, and then when it springs open, its real face is revealed or something. You know what I mean? Like maybe the Manatus is just a mask to mask this thing that after it opens up, then you see its eyes, its mouth, or whatever. I mean, this thing could be the thing that is also collecting all the knowledge of all these worlds, and it's the Guardian as well. I think that works, unless we want it to be subservient to another boss creature. If we do that, I feel like we need a way for this thing to funnel everything that these creatures are trying to garner, the knowledge, the history of the universe or whatever, into the boss creature somehow. Well, I guess you could have a really smart Guardian. There's no reason why it couldn't be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess when we first thought of a Drake, we didn't think of a real intelligent being or creature. But what Artie has come up with, it looks like it'd be intelligent.
I mean, if it's collecting all the knowledge of everything, I almost feel like its intelligence should be like a 30. Like it should be, or like maybe a 26 or 27, like something way up there.
Yeah, because it is collecting knowledge.
Yeah.
We're going to go 26, 27.
I'm going to do 27 only because 27? I have this tendency of always doing, even though it won't matter. How large is huge? Huge is...
So if you're looking at large, you're looking at, it's kind of like a beholder. Hill giant looks like it's about 16 feet. Storm giant's 26 feet.
I would say either huge or gargantuan. Huge, I think, probably is more reasonable, but it doesn't have to. I mean, this could be a colossal creature. Maybe on its planet, that's the normal size, or like maybe he's small or she is small for her size. We don't really know that, but I'd say, I mean, you want it to tower over. I feel like this is one of those epic moments in a game when you've fought so hard to get here, and there it is, the Guardian, as it opens up in front of you. It's like 30 feet tall, 40.
I'd say this thing's like 30 feet, like that, and then it opens. So if you're thinking like dragon or something that size.
Yeah, yep.
I just did this, but it's like tried to make the flaps that opens up. It'd be all crystals inside, and it's good as tentacles come out.
Yeah.
So eyes all over his body, but just something freaky, not abnormal, like nothing.
Take Brisby a long time to take out all its eyes.
In a realm of, like a beholder or something where it's just total fantastical. Doesn't follow any known.
Yeah, I mean, if it's literally made of crystals and that's its natural form, like nothing is going to look, common. I think there might be like tentacles you might be familiar with, but like I think when you look at it, it should be like almost like a what's that other the Lovecraft kind of that sort of monsters in a way that they're indescribably
stars, indescribable, eldritch.
All right, we got armor class, hit points, and speed.
It's more crystal. It's going to be probably a pretty high armor class.
I think his speed would be pretty fast too if he's able to levitate. What about like a beholder? What is a beholder's speed? I think they're slow, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, I think so too. I feel like they just float down the hall. They aren't.
Yeah, they just try to look at you. That's all they have to do. They don't have to be very fast.
Oh yeah, they've only got their flight speed is 40, but if they're not flying, they can only move 5 feet. So maybe do like 50 for this thing. Maybe it's a little faster than maybe even 55, 60. Sure. Is it twice as fast as a normal adventurer? Or we could do the same thing where it's got a grounded, or does it ever land? Is it always floating?
Yeah, I think it'd be always floating unless they're able to somehow defeat it miraculously.
Yeah, and then it would fall. Yeah. Well, I'll put 50 for now. I think that's a good starting point. It might go up.
Well, could it crawl on the ground with its tentacles?
Maybe it has the power to, but never really uses it because it doesn't need to. Yeah. But we could always put a walk speed of just 15 or something, just in case it runs into a situation where gravity is different on a different planet. And
then I would say they can also climb at the same rate. 500 hit points. That's a lot, right? I think that it can grab with its tentacles and then maybe like a psychic thing or like a domination on somebody.
Oh yeah, when it grapples you.
Yeah, and it could have barbs, like the octopi have the suckers with the barbs in them.
I guess with the tentacle, it could also maybe slash at you. Goes in slashing damage, and it hits you with some kind of magic. It hits you with it, zaps you with lightning.
Yeah, almost like a poison attack, but it's like a energy. Yeah. Instead of poison, it's like an energy shock.
We're talking about the tentacles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could do like a flay attack where it slashes you, but also it could grab.
Yeah, I definitely think they should be able to get wrapped up. What if the tentacles also have sharp crystals on them? So when they grapple, you're hooked in. Like it takes a real lot to get away from it.
It could also cause piercing damage.
That's what we're talking like a shock. Like instead of a poison, like a mana or energy, like shock hits you like an eel would shock you, or a jellyfish.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Did I hear 500 hit points?
Sorry.
Yeah.
500 hit points.
Sorry.
Yeah.
500 hit points.
Sorry.
Did you say 500 hit points?
That's fair, right?
I'm gonna go 550.
Yeah. So as long as no one can beat him. That's all that matters. Or there's severe casualties.
Yeah, exactly. This is the end game right here. This is the thing that it's make or break. The world falls if this creature doesn't.
Do or die. But also, I guess this could be DM's choice. Like, you can use this tentacle to whap you with it, but it's like getting hit with a flay. The crystal barbs will just slash.
Yeah, I dig that flay attack.
That would be his close range stuff, but mostly he'd probably just use magical.
Yeah, definitely. He probably very rarely, or she or it, whatever it is, rarely has to rely on using its physical attacks. But something gets close enough and it's distracted with another creature, it might wrap him up or cut him or something.
Or it might even just toss him. They just sweep a tentacle and just knock them 30 feet away.
We could do like a Hydra type of thing. Or I don't know if there's creatures like this, say you chop off one of the tentacles. If you're able, either it continues to attack independently, like it will float around and still maybe slower or something, but it will still be like alive. Like when you cut an earthworm in half, it's like still alive. Or it could be like a Hydra and it goes to replace the one that you dismember. Or
I like that.
I like both ideas. Yeah, I don't.
That could get messy though if they start cutting off a lot of tentacles.
Yeah.
Like, how many do we want? How many tentacles?
I would say the typical 8, but I feel like in this case, because it's such a weird thing, it's going to be like 7 or 9 or something crazy.
I've got 6 here.
Yeah, 6 will work too. All right, so if you cut off 1, it animates, it continues to attack. You cut off 2, it animates. Cut off 3, and then they die. Like that side, maybe there's 3 on one side, 3 on the other. Though if you're able to cut off all 3, then they will independently die. However, they won't until all 3 on each side, are cut off. That way you still get a few more rounds of extra attacks in there as the DM.
I like that. Yeah, have a small glimmer of hope. It can coil around people and restrain them.
Still lash out.
Maybe it won't have the shock ability because it's amputated, I guess.
Severed,
yes.
I just wrote the word severed. It's funny you put that. We got a lot of good attacks for this thing. I feel like it's crystal. I feel like there should be like a detonation type thing where like if it's in the last case scenario, if it wanted to, it could, shoot out like 50% of its crystals inside it or whatever part of its body, like it shoots it out and it's like a massive rain of crystals or something that comes down on people, almost like a breath weapon. But in this case, it would be like, a circular kind of section that it just comes down and
like an explosion kind of, or like a final.
Yeah, it's not going to do this unless it knows it's either on the brink of death, and it could have the opportunity to, it might be able to take out enough of the party. Not that I want to kill the party in this scenario, but like in the scenario in my head, like I feel like it could, really maim the party at that point and kind of re-up like the level of, we're starting to beat him. Oh, nope. There we go.
Or he could always close himself up and he's like vulnerable when he closes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think in that form, you'd have to have a special item. Maybe we could make that item too. That would be kind of interesting because if it is on the brink of death and it can go back into that form, like I think it should be invulnerable unless you have this one item that could get through it.
Also, when you were talking about the crystal like attack, desperation attack or what have you, he could also, it could be like a sound or a psionic attack. He like rings the crystals and it goes out in like a wave. Could have some debilitating effect on the party, not like crippling per se, but whatever, like a siren attack type of thing, or mind flayers are horrible. Something like a sound attack with the crystal could make you deaf.
Ah, yeah.
Something that is bad, but not like brown note bad.
Yeah, something that, it would make you want to drop your weapons and cover your ears or something. And if you fail your saving throw, maybe that's what you do. And if you fail, you also go deaf for, however long you decide until you save or something like that.
Well, Dragon Lancers, the Draconians, when they have a death throw that when they get killed.
Yeah, they can turn to acid or explode or,
They had a bunch of different, I'm thinking those creatures are made so difficult. They were like super high level.
Draconians, wow, that's going back.
This could be the same thing as like a death throw. When you finally kill it, you don't want to be next to it or within 30 feet.
Yeah.
10 feet or whatever. You want to set the distance.
Yeah, what does happen? Is it like, it could be an explosion or it could be a gas is released from its inner body. It's...
Well, if it's crystal, I mean, it would have shards flying everywhere. And I do like the idea of it making a horrendous sound, the deafening sound, like deafening.
Yeah, I like effects like that where you can deafen or whatever it is to tie up a character or a party member, or a player rather, while you can, that's neat.
And, well, you can make different effects. Maybe it makes you go deaf and maybe you kind of go crazy for a round or two and you just start swinging at anything you can hit.
That's not a bad idea because that kind of ties it back to the addiction and going crazy. Maybe it can release like a cloud like of this stuff that's, making people go nuts.
I like that too. Like makes you confusion.
Yeah, we could have a roll chart, maybe a D6 roll chart and 6 different effects. And of course, one will be the brown noise.
Yeah, you poop yourself.
So when you get rendered deaf for magicians, and does that inhibit their spell casting?
Some spells require a voice, but I mean, you can still do that even if you can't hear what you're saying.
Would that affect it if you had you had to speak it and you couldn't hear yourself saying the sounds, would it cause a potential failure? Or?
Maybe with disadvantage.
Yeah, maybe be disadvantage.
Yeah, because you may not say it quite right.
Right.
So this is pretty much covering a lot of its actions. Legendary action. I feel like we should probably just make one of these the legendary action. Probably that. I guess it could have two. It would be that last ditch, and then the explosion on death would be the two. Well, actually, explosion on death wouldn't count at all. Like I would say the one where it sacrifices 50% of itself in a rain or a wave or whatever of these crystals. That might be a good legendary action. How
many legendary actions do you think it will give it? 3?
Yeah, I'd say 3.
Oh, well, I guess like with dragons, they can do it multiple. They're not limited to a number of times, are they?
I don't think so. You just
sometimes
have to roll
it's per round.
Some of them have like a reset or like you have to roll a d6, and if you roll a 6, you get it back.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking something in terms of the party's favor. Say he does that legendary attack, it loses something because he vaporized his crystals, so like he can't do the sound attack anymore. Like can't ring the crystals, cause that sound wave.
Yeah, that's a good idea because it's used up half of its body or a large portion of its body for this massive attack. It shouldn't be able to still do some of the other attacks.
I think it'd probably be near death at that point.
Or maybe when you sever one of its tentacles, that's what shatters and creates a sound. It's like you want to get rid of its tentacles, but there's going to be hell to pay for.
They should all kind of, how we were talking about having that random 6 options table, depending on what happens. I think maybe it could do that with that as well, that attack. Maybe it could deafen you, or it can, whatever we decide to throw into those 6 options. So
would it affect everybody the same, or does it affect people differently? Like each player has to roll a d6 that's within range?
I like that a lot. Yeah. You don't know. You don't know what you're going to hit with if you fail. Definitely makes you less likely. Well, in the case of like the tentacles, you're not going to want to cut them off because of that. This is another thing kind of similar where you're not going to necessarily want to do certain things because it's going to cause you problems or your party problems.
But you kind of have to, though.
Yeah, that's the thing is if you want to bring it down, it's like...
Just like with those damn draconians, it's like, you got to get rid of them. But
oh, yeah, there's the ones that turn to stone. You stick your sword in and can't get it.
Yeah, you lose your weapon and stuff. Same with the acid. How about magic resistance? Like, obviously, we got the physical danger, so maybe...
Advantage on all saving throws?
Yeah.
Is it immune to anything that we know of? Is it, I'd hate to say, you can't just say all magic because that would render the, casters useless.
That's a little too...
Yeah, immunity is tough. Yeah. Resistance is better. At least you're doing, half damage.
And this thing has already got so many hit points. We haven't even figured out its AC, but I'm sure that's going to be through the roof. Advantage on magic saving throws.
Is it going to have resistance on all magic?
I think it should have, definitely.
Because, this crystal on crystals are energetic. They absorb that kind of stuff.
That does seem to be a theme. I think that now that we're kind of running with it, a lot of these creatures should have some kind of... It seems like anything that comes from this other planet innately somehow has some resistances to magic because they are, in and of themselves, most of them made up of some form of magic.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least they absorb a lot of it. So do we get 2 or 3? I think we got 2 legendary actions. That last chance. Then there's the scream.
Sound wave.
The sound. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm thinking sound. The crystal, sound thing. I like the idea of, you said psionics earlier too. I almost feel like it should have some kind of psionic ability to communicate. Perhaps even, I don't know, maybe that's part of its makeup, maybe it's not. But I feel like a lot of its magic and everything would work on a mental level anyway, even if it isn't psionics, just because it's a different type of creature who is innately magical and made out of crystal, by the way.
Well, would it know the common language?
Well,
because it's recording everything from this world.
I'd say it could speak any language that it's come across the world of that knowledge. Most likely we wouldn't have anybody in the party that it wouldn't be able to communicate with, I would think. It's
I think it would communicate in your mind, like with thoughts. So it wouldn't even need language per se. It would just project itself into your head.
Yeah, like it shows you almost in a way, like it plays out scenes in your head. Like, yeah.
That could be a thing where it just constantly shows you your own death or something, or you failing, dying.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. If you fail a save.
Ooh, that could be a legendary action. It gives you a vision of your death, and that gives you like disadvantage on your next attack, or
you get like fear.
And maybe psionic damage, or fear, or it affects you on your next round.
Yeah. Psionic attack, death vision, legendary action. That's a cool one. Yeah. Is this thing a solitary creature, or does it have like minions that would be near it, in it, on it, around it?
I think this is the final boss. So like he's all by himself in there. You've made it this far. Made it past all the other adversaries. You guys think he should have like a drones or like wardens?
It's hard to say because this thing is already so powerful, but I do feel like that would add to its power. I mean, it's a godlike creature. It would be insane to think that it couldn't have, minions or followers or something like that. But
well, if there's crystals on the ground, maybe it could create a swarm with a bunch of crystals. Those crystals are the theme.
It could use like its telekinetic kind of powers to. What about like a whirlwind of like crystals? Like it picks them up off the ground mentally, chooses a target, and those crystals are like razors and just whip and get closer and closer and kind of just grind into the person or something like that.
Or it causes a disadvantage and like D4 or something small, like little cuts. And...
Yeah, maybe it's like a protection barrier, and you get within 5 feet, it does slice at you, and maybe you can use them as a ranged weapon. It can just shoot them out at you and they explode when they hit you.
That is almost identical to a creature, or I was thinking more like an item idea I had, but it was going to be bone fragments.
Yeah.
That's something we got to do. We got to create some items for this campaign at some point, some cool magic items. Keep that one on the back burner there.
I'm kind of adjusting. It's easily adjustable to fit into the campaign setting. It's like a trap. Like once you get close to it, it springs up.
I like stuff like that, like mimics and things that you don't think it is what it is, and then boom.
I think there should be some other kind of creatures in there. Almost something like a bat that come flying at you, or things that come up out of the ground at you.
What if maybe it can summon them? Yeah. That way they wouldn't be there as you approached it, but in need, it could summon its minions.
They could come out of the ground, or
out of the ground.
Oh, there's a spell where wizards can jet things out of the ground, isn't there? Or maybe you could jet out crystals, and if you're up underneath it, you got to do dexterity saving throw, or
like an erupting earth kind of thing, but with crystals.
It'll do bludgeoning damage, and it'll knock you so many feet away.
Yeah, that's neat. Just comes right out from underneath you. You don't even see it coming, like blades, just like a trap in a way almost.
And then it becomes an obstacle for the rest of the party.
Difficult terrain. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, senses, I think, dark vision or...
Yeah, I wonder if maybe this world's got crystals and it keeps it lit. So maybe it doesn't really need dark vision. So maybe if a wizard has a dark spell, it can actually work to your advantage.
Maybe it has that tremor sense like the Mantis does too, or I can't remember what we called it on that one. That way it has a way of kind of outside of, or maybe it is just all telepathic. Maybe it doesn't need to.
I envision it with no mouth per se, just eyes, or maybe even not even eyes.
Maybe it speaks by vibrating as crystals.
Yeah.
That's what we did with the Mantis. That's right. They could kind of send,
Which it makes sense that he would have that same ability. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's kind of something inherent with these world's creatures.
Yeah, they've got to communicate somehow to each other. So, but of course, this creature, which I don't know what we're going to name it yet, but this one can communicate with anything pretty much throughout the universe. I would imagine it knows its language and can do that whole mental showing you a picture of things. And
I really like that idea.
Challenge rating. We've really pushed this one up. We were going to go with like 24, right?
Yeah, this is a serious boss fight.
Well, at some point we got to play test it.
Yeah, we can take the three. We'll make 3 characters, or we'll take 3 existing characters and throw them at it at different levels, maybe too, to see where it fits best.
So right now we're just throwing stuff against the wall. It's going to make it almost invincible, and then we have to tone it down a bit.
It's always fun to go hog wild and make them this an unstoppable deity.
It seems like it's got to have each creature has to have a weakness.
What is this creature's weakness? The boss, the big one.
I guess if you're talking about weapons, bludgeoning weapons, I would think would be more damaging to crystals.
But also, you are able to sever his tentacles.
Yeah.
We'll have to make a ratio for a successful dismembering.
So I guess weapons, any kind of form of weapon would be good. Any melee weapon. It seems like arrows would kind of like tink right off it.
Yeah, I think piercing should definitely only do like half damage or whatever.
Yeah. They'd even be ineffective. That would kind of render.
But God, some characters might just be useless.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Yeah, want to make it like frustrating.
What if, like, I mean, I don't know if there's any sound-based attacks, but I feel like vibrating crystal at the right, kind of like how a singer can hold a note, a pitch, certain height, and it'll shatter. What would cause that kind of damage? Like, what spell or item or weapon?
A bard.
A bard, yeah. So that would be kind of interesting if the party doesn't have a bard. They miss out on the advantage of one of this creature's huge weaknesses.
Or, that, and you could have special items that are in the campaign, like the item that opens his shell form. Like, there'll be items that give benefits to attack stuff. Be extra damaging.
Yeah, that's cool. I dig that.
Yeah, I think we're going to definitely have to create some kind of weapons that would give the players, a chance against this thing.
And I think this is, now that we're seeing this, we know that somewhere along their adventure they're going to have to acquire. Maybe it's these crystal weapons that, the crystals that fall off the molting of the manatus. Yeah. Those are the weapons that'll hurt this thing, and nothing else can really hurt it.
But I would think that steel weapons would be good against it.
Regular weapons could possibly work, but it would be much more difficult. Like, you get an advantage when you use the crystal.
Well, they should do their normal damage, I think. Yeah, but it's going to be difficult getting into it. But if it's a magic weapon with its normal damage, it would take its normal damage, but what about the magic damage? Half of that?
I almost feel like the magic damage is what it would absorb, maybe, or part of it. Maybe it only takes half of the magic damage and it absorbs the other half.
Yeah, kind of like with the manatus.
Yeah. Well, maybe not. I mean, I might be tying it too closely.
Well, I mean, there may be traits that other creatures have in common. And going into battle after fighting a manatus, you may kind of think that, is this thing going to do the same thing? And maybe to an extent, some of it might. Oh, what about it does absorb the magic, but the DM keeps track of how much damage is taken, how much it is absorbed. And when you kill it, or if you like sever its arm and destroy the arm, that much magic damage spreads out and is divided into the players that are affected. Like if it's absorbed 100 points of damage, it's going to send out 100 points of magic damage.
Yeah.
So maybe like half of magic damage it absorbs to use for that.
It's like it's absorbing the magic, kind of in the same as a mantis, but in a different form. It's just storing it for the energy
to redirect it.
Yeah, it's not really using it to create an attack like the manatus can, but it's just storing it. But when you destroy part of it, that magic has to be released. And I think just to make things simple, would it be like just make it one type of damage, like force damage or?
Yeah, I think force damage.
Lightning, or lightning, because it's going to be electrifying.
I feel like force feels better to me, but we could do either.
Absorbing all magics, all different magics, like converts it into.
That's true. Yeah, it's favored. Whatever it could be, force or electric or whatever. But I do think we should limit it only because there are so many other things. Like I think it should be, like you said, like electric or
lightning. Because you don't want the DM to have to sit there and say, it's going to send out 25 lightning, 30 fire. It just takes that energy from the magic and stores that. Just the energy.
I dig it.
That's why I think it either needs to be lightning or force.
Or it could be a 50-50 in that case. That wouldn't be as bad as having, 7 to 10 different options. At least if you just had the two, it'd be like, okay.
Well, if it's force, it could also knock you prone.
Or what if it's both? Like, what if you take like 3d6 of force and 3d6 of electricity? I think the AC is the only major thing we haven't. That in the name. I say Bruce.
Bruce, yeah. Guardian.
Yeah.
Ruckbay, RUCBE. The name that no one speaks except in hushed whispers. Even they don't even know he exists. He's been there for so many thousands of years that nobody's even sure that he's down there, just sitting there waiting, guarding.
And he should be a named boss.
Yeah, like an actual
not
name.
Just a species.
I like a name idea. I was trying to think of like a title or something, but I think, or it could be a name and a title like John the Baptist or,
something guardian of something, forgotten one.
Or what about like the waiting one or he who waits or
a listener? He's listening in.
Yeah, like I think he's still sentient and maybe he's able to collect data or he has so much intelligence and information contained that time doesn't matter to him.
Auditor.
It was able to collect information from Athalia by being in tone with the crystal core.
Yeah, what about Auditor? I kind of like that.
Something the Auditor, or should it just be the Auditor?
Yeah, he's just known as the Auditor.
I like the Auditor. I think that's kind of neat. Maybe to know his true name, is a strength over him or something like that.
Or it's just totally forgotten.
Is this going to be a thing where there's multiple portals being guarded by these things, or?
That's what I would think.
Because I don't think he should be the all-out boss of the world.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, he guards the Athalian portal. Are there other ones? Maybe he's...
Or maybe he's not really guarding it. He is collecting. Yeah, maybe it's got these crystal... He's got some crystal structure around him, and it's collecting all this information, and he's the auditor that's recording all this information. And he just happens to be a badass.
Yeah, I like the Auditor. It's different. I was thinking the Collector, but I think the Auditor, it's just so neat. It's so ominous sounding, too. It's not like...
Because the Manatis, maybe we should have multiple Manatis out there because they're mainly the guardians of that portal on the other side. Right. So they're supposed to keep everybody out, but hopefully your heroes are going to get in.
AC, we need a AC. Do we not come up with that? I thought we did.
28.
Did we determine what level the party is going to be when they get to the end game on all of this and they face this creature?
I think it should be well above 12, like most.
Yeah, maybe like 15 or something.
This could be, if we maybe do try to create campaigns that go from 12 to 16. Because most books end at 12, so this could be like a quest the DM could take their party to
pick it up, yeah.
After they've reached 12, after whatever campaign they just finished.
Yeah, that works out because there's not a lot of high end. And even if we wanted to bring it back a few other levels too, we could always start at like 10 or something like that. But yeah, I think that works out. Because this would be at level 16. Yeah, we'll have to play test it because I feel like right now you guys could at least hit this creature. But I think at level 16, I think you'd be a little bit more powerful. But we'll figure it out in time when we get to that point. But the Auditor is in the book now, and we'll continue to iron away at that. We're really whittling away here. Now we've got the Manatis, we've got the Terra Worm, we've got the crystal magic that all these things are capable of doing. And if you guys want to go back and check out any of those episodes, you can do that in the playlist for the Vodkast and Friends Do Dungeons and Dragons. So we'll probably continue to work on this, but thank you guys for coming out tonight and really polishing off this big boss for it, the campaign.
Thanks for including me.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
It's always a good time.
I couldn't do it without you guys.
Cheers.
Comment, subscribe. Cheers.